blank is the place to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very, very good opportunity to get whatever you want going into the finals, right? You get a lot of points here in terms of, well, not points, but if you get a lot of points here, you have a fantastic chance to get in. And even if you don't make it through Gauntlet, you get even more chances in the future to get towards those finals. So it is a perfect opportunity. We're starting things off here over on Rondo. I'm sure some of you may have seen this map previously over on some of our other PMSLs. But if this is first time tuning in, we do have a new map in. It is this one. It has the recall system that the guys on the desk were talking about, and the one gal, of course, which allows teams to get back into the match should they get knocked and flushed. It's an interesting mechanic. It does make it quite chaotic at times.
Absolutely. If you're wondering, where can I find these recall beacons? Well, it's the handy green hearts all over the map. They'll be visible on the mini-map as well, but it looks like we're already in for a fast start here. R8 dropping down with Alpha 7 over on the northwest side. Blank. It looks like Alpha 7, though, they've already taken a knock and a flush. But remember, the recall beacons exist, so it's not all done and dusted for the player from Alpha 7. As a second falls as well, I think it's time to turn tail and get on out of there.
I think they actually do already have an outpost ready to res if needs be. From the guys on Alpha 7, so that's fine, should be okay. I think that when you look at this over on Rondo as well, what you typically see, decent nade to start off with 2, and 97 looks to move up. Ida, sorry. Memori.
Dangerous though. Yeah, has a shotgun. Oh, he's only got 2 more rounds though. 1, no, we can't find it. The AKM in the back pocket though, and the swap out is good for the turn of the spray, but the vents don't keep him safe. A couple more breathing holes than he would like there, and gets slashed to bits in the end. R8 able to get a lot of points in the meantime, Blank. We've got another hot drop going on between Virtus Pro and Ulf. Is that a full squad wipe, or is that just the flushes coming through? I think it was just the flushes.
It's scrappy. It always is really scrappy at the start here as well. Marfanning Revo, as Alpha 7 looked to get back into the mix here, in fact, after that double knock occurred upstairs. Squeeze out underneath. GS9. Pretty decent submachine gun exclusive to Rondo. Amori's looking for the parachutes. Not seeing any just yet. Alpha 7 back up to 3 now. Again, as I was saying before, the typical strategy is to send 3 in towards a location you want to control. You have 1 outpost sent over towards the recall beacon.
Ooh, what's the battle of the M249s? Plenty of lead being thrown either way. Not too much connecting, though, but in the end, it was Marso to win that little duel there. You can see we've already got a lot of elims on the cards, Blank, but only 2 people are currently flushed. Make that 3 now. But look at the number of elims. We're already up to 11 elims found, and only 1 player has gone down. Orangutan have lost 1. And it looks like R8 and Alpha 7 aren't done just yet either.
R8's actually profiting quite a lot off of this, actually. 5 points already on the game. It's very fantastic. Korea off in the distance, Obscures having to send away now. And R8 may just get 6 points from Alpha 7 total, which is a little bit weird considering they're a 4-man squad. But for R8, fantastic stuff.
I think this is the first time I've seen a team get more than 4 points on a hot drop.
Yeah,
certainly in Rondo. I'm talking about the Rondo recall system, but because we've hypothesized, you know, what's the maximum number of points you can get from one team. It looks like R8 are trying to set that record right now. Goodness me. Okay, if you get 6 or 7 points from a single team, I mean, they're called Alpha 7, right? Maybe that's because they're worth 7 points.
Yeah, we'll take 7 off them. That's 6 elims total. But also that indicates that Alpha 7 has lost the fight twice, which is not great for the prospects of Alpha 7 going forward. I mean, losing to R8 as well, in the past, that might have seemed as like a big upset, but I think R8's actually improved a lot over the years. Most of those players are veterans now of the game. They've been playing a very, very long time. I think they're all very good. There's some small changes here and there. But yeah, I think Marth's always been a bit of an underestimated player, and he's consistently been getting better. Ida also has just always been a strong suitor on that team. So I think for R8, you know, that is a fantastic start for them, but also not too surprising considering their uptick in their trend.
So, I mean, it's a great start, right? If you want to have a big game, crack on with Rondo, get towards the top of the gauntlet. Alpha Gaming starting to make their move from Yulin down towards that southeast side, crashing into the rocks there. Zol not going to go any further. Maybe spotted a couple of mad balls ahead of him and decided, you know what, I'm going to wait for the rest of my team to handle this one.
Man, APG's got brightness on maximum there. Like he was gazing into the sun. The screen was illuminating half the stage. I don't really switch the phone up to 120% on the brightness.
Hey, you know, they can handle it, those phones. They got all the bells and whistles. Thunder Talk.
Oh, ring sunglasses in.
Off the wall. Yeah, I don't think they put sunglasses on your face. I think they're just short of that feature. But everything else, they pretty much got it on lock. Mad Balls crashing in, and Kara, Tulika spots one of them. And Moss has to crawl back upstairs. Remember, the recall beacon's still active, still accessible potentially, although it's going to get harder in the middle of the circle, which is where we find ourselves right now, Blank. It is going to be a little bit more difficult to find those recall beacons. So losing a player here is a little bit more terminal than perhaps losing a player further towards the outside.
It does get a little bit tough. That's the sacrifice you have to make, right? If you want center, likely you're not getting a second chance here. Certainly possible to make happen, but by the time you start heading center, a lot of teams start to gatekeep on these recall beacons, which is something that's happening a lot more frequently. And I do think that this initial stint of eliminations, of aggression, does start to die down a little bit as teams head on over towards that early game, that mid game. I'd say that probably kicks in around about 12, 13 minutes here on Rondo. But it can kick in a lot later, as we've seen in previous PMSLs where things get really dicey the entire time. The question is whether it's really worth it or not. And I think teams haven't quite figured that part out yet. I think there's still decisions to be made whether to send 3 in, get some points here and there, and just send 1 out towards the center of the circle. There's decisions from certain teams. I mean, Papala Supermassive did this where they actually profited quite a lot off of Rondo individually by playing a 4-man all the way through to the end game. They never really participated in those early fights, but they were still getting a lot of big points because by the time they got towards 18 minutes where they were stacked, they were looted, they were ready to roam around as 4, there was still around 50 players in the lobby. So you still have a lot of time to pick up those points.
Absolutely. Right now, I'm looking on the map at Regnum Kaya, Blank, in the middle. And they are on a 2-2 split, currently looking at 2 recall beacons, and one of them just went up massively in value. I'm expecting that they've regrouped to the east now. No real reason to stay on that western side one. Get a move on, because you know that recall is so valuable for you. And Regnum Kaya wants to keep that one under control. Alpha 7 still has 2, by the way, in the northwest side. And they are now near Virtus Pro. All right, they feel like, you know what, 6 points is enough. We'll crack on, lads. See you guys later. You'll stick around as 2 in the blue.
I mean, for Alpha 7, that second fight was really poor. The vision was that after that double knock, they were going to try and clear up the fight from there for R8 and deal with them. Unfortunately, there was a quick response from their side, and suddenly Alpha 7's plans get massively cut to shreds. Now they're sat on the outside edge, trying to move in. Real difficult maneuver now to make. I mean, they're passing through VP as well, and they sort of have to make a straight shot towards the circle if they want to catch a recall beacon in time and still have a chance to get some loot on board before you're transitioning towards those late game fights. I think it's tough for Alpha 7. I don't think that this initial match is going to go all that well for them whatsoever. Good shot from CEO over towards Solus. Real quick put down from him.
Yeah, Kara, remember, they lost a player earlier, and so they are staying as 3. They didn't break out to go for that recall. That's what I was talking about. Even though they are still available, they're kind of trapped in now. So Mad Balls being able to find that opener, really very valuable. And it looks like They are still under caution, but CEO, as you saw there, getting that knock over to Solus. That should be fairly resable. Uh-oh. Poser has to live under the cover fire of his teammates there as Lemon nearly takes him down out of the rotate.
Yeah, it's one of those tough things, and it's a good point to bring up, is that if you're knocked and flushed towards the center of the circle, typically you're not getting that player back up again. But there's also that thing that's talking to you in the back of your head, right? The evil voice that sometimes you get that tells you that maybe you could go for one of the recall beacons. And I think that is something that you had to kind of have to disconnect from your mindset in these games. If you're going down towards the center, you have to play on as 3. Yes, there's a possibility you can play on as 4, but does that possibility pose more risks? Most likely. So I think that teams do struggle with this idea of making those bold plays. I think if you go down to 1 or 2 players, I think it's absolutely fine to try and go for one of those maneuvers. It's probably not going to work out, but if it does, you salvage the game off the back of it. But I think playing as 3 is absolutely fine if you are center.
Ooh, nades over the top. This is Kara down to 2 now as Wolves took their 3rd player out. So it's just Lewis and CEO, and nade bounces on the backboard, and it manages to land on target. The circle shifts out to the side, so this has the hurry up on the fight, and I think that Mad Bulls is just going to be able to close this one down here and now. CEO, though, has something to say. A nade out through the door, stops first breach, gives him a little bit more time to play with. Teams are going to be leaving from around them, so not too much danger of third party as nades start to bounce on in, and he goes down to the bombardment in the basement. Too much to handle. CEO, you're fired.
Given the old basketball maneuver there as well, bounced it off the floor into his face. I love that nade. You don't see those all that often. This is very messy right now. And I mean, we didn't really talk about the circle too much, but this has shifted over towards the eastern side. There is a lot of space down towards the southern edge of Yeongu right now on Jidana City that is available. This circle could push towards as well. Most teams are sat down towards Tuleng right now on the south side. Huge amount of water involved. It's a very uncomfortable circle, very, very uncomfortable. And you can tell that just by this terrain that you're looking at right here. It's, small divots to play in, small defiles you can set up, but other than that, very rough. And I mean, this is where you really want to be able to use the destructible terrain to your advantage, right? Being able to bomb out some of these areas with the nades, create those small craters is going to be very, very useful. More so than this is having buildings like GS. That does make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a big advantage right now. Coming in through on that south side, a little bit closer to Tuleng. I think the teams on the south are going to have a little bit cleaner of a time for now, but I think as things move forwards, it is the teams further up towards the north where Thundertalk were playing before, and well, actually where DXavier are trying to send towards right now. You can see they're trying to get around the edge of this one, regroup onto Lambor, who is their northmost point blank. They're 3 players behind, and they are sending it forwards. They managed to find a sliver through. This is good scouting coming through for DXavier, and they find themselves on the coastline on a nice little plateau.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And for DXavier as well, there's always this chance to move over towards that northeast side and try and cross the water if the circle does shift towards the northeast. It's there's a chance there. I'm not going to say it's like a startlingly large possibility, but it is one of those positions you do need to be aware of, which is quite like DRX's spot. They haven't set themselves up for a massive elim game, but should the circle move over towards the eastern side, they have the bridge to work around, and also they could just gatekeep if they wanted to, and that's where they could pick up a lot of eliminations in the chaos and the panic that ensues after a circle like that. But as usual, I'm going to set all this up, and we are not going to go towards the eastern side, so I won't talk about it until that happens. In the meantime, Thunder talks over towards that central arena, like you said, alongside with DXavier. Well, maybe I do need to talk about it. Completely undefined, right? Completely undefined. I'd say it was slightly more over towards that northeastern side in terms of land. But yeah, I think that you pretty much have to stick to your guns here. If you're out for 7, you are having a great time off the back of this. Mad Bulls moving into GK. Very, very bad stuff here happening for them. But luckily, Flip's on the outside. Wonderful off-angle player, but then he's got 2 enemies to deal with here in front of him. Safji and Ragnarok. See what Flip can get done here. He's very good when it comes to clutches, usually, for Mad Bulls.
Oh, Ragnarok rolls on in and finds the two players. I think there might have been three on the middle there for the Mad Bulls. Flip with a nade on in, looking to try and stop Ragnarok from doing any more damage here. But the rest of his team has melted. He might be an off-angle player, but now he is the angle. And we'll have to try and find something. Nice. A real big re-knock there as Ragnarok actually has to send around the edge. But fortunately, here's Kowtow down behind as Regnum Kaya chime into the fight. There's off angles everywhere, Blank. This is the messy area we were talking about. This northern road, so difficult.
That's a bold push. Very, very bold push from Flip here. He's been taking a little bit of damage from behind, hoping the snake goes through. Regnum Kaya completely stymieing his approach. I think it's a very smart play from Ragnarok as well to immediately switch back over towards the rest of the team. It put the pressure on Flip in a big way where he had to speed up his gameplay, accelerate a little bit because it meant his teammates dying. And Ragnarok might just get... I think getting the full team res is going to be a bit difficult. Maybe if he cleaned this up slightly sooner. There's a slight indecision here, and now Regnum Kai should be able to clean up the pieces nice and easily.
There we go. They are indeed eliminated. And Regnum Kai are now up to 5 elims. They've lost one of their players, but there's still plenty of firepower for them to play with, and 5 points. It's not a bad game by any stretch. Now, we head over to the route out of Jejina City, the bridge mouth here where Arena have sat. DRX were up in the buildings for a long time, and now they want to exert more control over the area and get past this Arena blockade on this northeast side. But R8 are pushing in from the west. They're already up to 7 elims. Like, they've had a hot start to the game, and they want to continue taking out Hyunbin like it's nothing.
Hyunbin going down is pretty problematic. I mean, Hyunbin's probably one of DRX's better players as well. So him going out early there is pretty tough. Soaz now has a very, very big task ahead of him. But I would say that, you know, probably second best on the team here for the squad. Is able to take out one, making this into a 3v3 versus R8. Now, R8 could continue the warpath here since taking down the Brazilian squad in Alpha 7. Look to push out now. There is enemies all around, though.
Ooh, giving them the quick start steps, but it's not going to phase them at all. R8 have been through the ringer already, and they know the tricks of the trade. They'll move up to the north side now because Arena are struggling against one. They're getting mashed up across the road. What on earth just happened over there? R8, the major profit makers, though, on this engagement on the south side with IQ over the horizon. They continue to push up north.
Yeah, I mean, disgusting Molotov going through from QXZ. He's able to fight a lot of damage. Luckily, Prestige is able to move around the side, get the backstab, but he was putting up a valiant fight. Well, I don't know what to say here. This is such an evil circle to start off the day. In fact, just to start off PMGC in general. And Alpha 7 get incredibly lucky with this one. I think that's the play you have to make if you're a two-man squad, is you head to the unknown side of the map, which in this case is northeast. But they get so lucky this continuing to be in the circle in stage 5. I mean, by stage 5, you're usually assuming the circle to pick one of two landmasses to go to. But because this has been so central each time, the algorithm basically just says, well, we just have to split.
Yeah, it's a real nasty circle right now, and I mean, at the start of the game, playing like lemmings, you think that Alpha 7 do need to have a little bit of an uptick on performance there. As a rotate comes through for the Wolves, they're trying to crash on in. They do not have any other option. Thunder Talk are going to be on the defense here. Plenty of teams trying to crunch their way through, as well as R8 try and move up north towards the IQ position, but they are finally falling. With 12 elims, though, they've already had a banger of a game. A nade onto the outside leaves just the one player now. Baton for Wolves, alive, up on the wall, dancing around, trying to find an opening, but it's not being presented. Thunder Talk playing solid, stalwart on their defense, and there's nothing doing. Now he's at long range with the shotgun, and he's got to keep the lead pouring out, but it's not going to be enough to get all three. But goodness me, it was close.
I mean, it's the correct move. It's the correct move from Thunder Talks. It was slightly less glamorous than they were hoping potentially, but it is the right move, is to send 3 out on a quick spin there to take down Baton, because the way he was running around, I think they realized that they were just going to be wasting nades, sending them out the window, hoping for something like that. If they get this done right now, it means they can have a lot more pressure over towards the future. DXavier played a blinder here on this game, moving over towards that northeastern position after seeing that circle and getting it done so effectively. APG with some good nades as per usual, but one is sent back their way in Scarface as well as Ketch, doing a huge amount of damage. Now APG down to just Doc on a sliver of HP.
And we talked about them a lot earlier, Blank. DXavier making that rotate in has really paid off. I mean, the circle's helped, but they have managed to maintain that position on the north side here. They are not across the water. They are still on that southwest side, and they are rotating through. They've had oversight on so many of these fights. I mean, we saw brilliant nades just then, but none of them really mattered for the teams throwing them because of so much pressure coming through from DXavier's position.
They have held a really nice 4-man split as well, which I'm sure the desk will talk about at some point. But being able to do that over towards that tree line is not easy. There's plenty of positions teams could backstab you from, but I think they were keeping tabs on the circle very, very well. And immediately, as you saw there, as soon as the team got anywhere close, that's where they started to open up. VP, who did fantastically well within their own region, now have set themselves up beautifully on this north side. They're one of the last to the circle as well. They were on a similar trajectory to Alpha 7, so both teams had similar ideas here. But in their case, VP has 4 players as opposed to Alpha 7's 2, so has a much larger chance at taking this game. I think for DXavier, it's a tall task ahead of them, right? They need to take down most of the teams on the western side. Then they need to get an initial knock over towards Virtus Pro to enable even a swim to take place. I think if you were to put money on this match, fake Monopoly money, of course, you'd probably be betting that on VP.
Yeah, I think that is the smart money right now. I think you might be right on that one. IQ trying to leave, GS dropping down, trying to find one of their backstops, and they will be able to do so fairly simply. I mean, the rotate necessary coming through from IQ. They're rotating up, and Prestige, who did manage to get out of this one, does finally fall down, will fall to IQ, and they will stop at 13 elims. Blank, almost 50% of their points this match have come through from Alpha 7. Pretty fantastic, if you ask me. Thunder Talk now pushing in as well from that western edge.
Yeah, look to push through APG. Top and Doc were able to get back up the position. It's a cracking nade. A lot of splash damage on that bad boy. Flashed his own teammate, but he had eyes on. That was the main thing, right? He had eyes on. So the flash didn't matter. They mainly flashed Doc there.
It's all shock and awe. You know, they're just rolling on in. Big bang, big boom. They know where the player is.
Throw the stun grenade.
If you're both flashed and only one of you knows where the other one is, that's an easy win. Hey, look at this. Alpha 7. They've managed to find some divots very early across the way. Talked about them before. And now here we are with them being given a massive amount of circle luck to keep themselves in this one.
Wow, what a lob from Paragium. Very, very long on the nade there. But Thunder Talks get up effectively, and DXavier have nothing to say about it. 7 elims so far for the Thunder Talks. And overall, I would say the team play is phenomenal this game. I've been very impressed with maybe not the mechanical skill, but the decision making overall has been very, very good from Thunder Talks.
Xavier with 2 players now, holding off against 3, but it's Lamball to fall, leaving just Nate T left. He is closer to the water, and Thunder Talk do need to move on in, move a little bit closer here as the nades continue to roll on out. This is a bit more of a difficult push now. Virtus Pro may have oversight to some of these side angles that Thunder Talk are going to want to use to approach this situation, so it could be a little bit harder. That deployable cover as well, airdropping on in, giving them that concrete barrier, keeping them safe, but Alpha 7. They're still alive, by the way, and they've taken down DXavier.
That's an annoying one for Thunder Talks. I think they were just about to get that knock as well. But Alpha 7 salvaging this game as best as possible. I think that was only doable through this.
What on earth?
Yeah, this is rude. It's very rude. Thunder Talks might win this game. I might be wrong. I think for Virtus Pro, I mean, all things considered, this absolutely made sense for Virtus Pro to win this game. And I think that I would be lying to myself to say that I made a mistake that I don't think I did. I think it's just a case of the circles messing with us all right now. But for Thunder Talks, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think that just off the back of this game, there's been multiple moments where I thought that the team play is very, very good, which is usually something that is quite present in Chinese teams anyway, is that their team play is very, very good, but they're backing up with very, very quick maneuvers. So I quite like this from Thunder Talks. Virtus Pro immediately know they need to move across. I don't like that Thunder Talks aren't holding the water aggressively here, and I think that they're worried to go too far forward and expose themselves to angles from Alpha 7. But that does get Malai as well as Milky Way up with the two backstops in Aragon as well as Voston just watching their approach. Very well done. Very, very well done.
Yeah, I think this is really well played by Virtus Pro, and I think you're right on that. Alpha 7 off angle suppressing Thunder Talk on the western side. Just a note on the circle on the minimap, it's slightly offset from where it actually is. It's a little bit further southwest than this, so it is actually centered up into the water here. It does look like it gives more of an advantage to the southwest coastline, but that is not the case. It's really nasty. It's really nasty to everyone involved here. And I mean, Alpha 7, they might also have a chance in this one, Blank, which is crazy.
Yeah, his team
There's a difficult rotate out for them. So